Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel where beauty meets education. And as usual, my name is Victoria. Today we have a very special guest with us, one of our alumni of BTI Lagos and a CIDESCO certified esthetician, Mrs. Ngozi Atta, the founder of Jaga Beauty and the head esthetician of Skin Clinic Lagos. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
You're welcome.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
We're happy to have you too. So, I'm gonna be asking you a few questions, all right? So how has it been so far as an esthetician? How has it been since you left, since you graduated from BTI, everything? How's it been?
It has been a very interesting journey, a very rewarding one. And for me, it's been very revealing as well because at a point in my life, I didn't know that I was going to be doing this. So to think that, I started, and I'm happy I started well, and that's coming through the Beauty Therapy Institute. It was a very good foundation for me.
Yeah.
So having the right foundation helped me start well. And I think always, the beginning is always, very important.
True.
So far, so good.
That's awesome. So what motivated you to come to BTI Lagos?
Okay, the first time I heard about BTI was 2015. I think I was scrolling Instagram and I saw, then they used to introduce new students so there was someone I was following then, and I think she got introduced as a new student. At that time, I was a makeup artist, so I started out as a makeup artist. So Jaga Beauty originally started as a makeup servicing company, and I was a makeup artist at that time about 5 years. So I saw the institution, but I didn't know that. I just felt, it would be nice to come to a proper beauty institution.
Yeah.
But for me, I always like to have a reason. So at that point, I didn't know what I wanted to come for. Not until 2021, I think it was 22. 21, I made the decision. At that point, I had transitioned from makeup to skincare in 2020.
Okay.
So production of skincare products, manufacturing skincare products. So I transitioned, and at the end of 2021, I just decided that, it's time to get deeper into understanding what skincare is, skin type, and what am I into really, apart from putting this product together. Yes. So I again remembered BTI. Funny enough, the former admin used to be my colleague when I was working. So I met her at December 2021. I met her at an eatery, and I just ran to her, and I'm usually not the kind of person to ask questions, but I said, where are you working? And she told me she works at BTI. I was like, BTI? I've always wanted to come into BTI. So she advised me on the courses to take, and then told me that there was this was November time, that there was a promo coming up. So it would be the best time to sign up. Yeah. And that was when I signed up. The way everything happened, for me, I strongly believe everything that happens in my life is divinely orchestrated by God, because the money came at the right time. At that time, Jaga Beauty had just been awarded as the best skincare brand in Nigeria in 2020, and it came with a monetary gift. So it was the monetary gift I invested into paying for the courses. And for me, I never regret that choice, because even when I came in, I didn't plan to open an aesthetic clinic. I wanted to understand the science behind cosmetics and skincare. Yes. But then when she advised me on what courses to take. She even told me about CIDESCO earlier on. And I remembered one day here doing manual fish, I was like, so you mean I'm going to learn all of this and go and sit down at home? And at that point, I knew that it was going to be necessary to put it into practice. I had just spoken to an agent to look for a place for me for my factory. And I told him specifically I didn't want it to be in a place where people could walk in. So at that point where it hit me in class, I just called him and said, okay, you know what? Look for a different place for me. I think I'm going to have to set up a place where people can come into. So I'll say that the vision for Skin Clinic came while I was in BTI.
Wow,
yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, so
that's
awesome. And that was 21, right? 2021. I turned 40 in 2021. So it was a very challenging journey for me.
Yeah.
Very challenging. I cried sometimes.
Wow.
Because coming back to school, And then I was combining it with, it affected my business because I wanted to give this my all. And so when I say affected, not like it's in a bad way, but I didn't have that. Of course, I was still building.
Time,
yes, I was still building Jaga Beauty as well. Jaga Beauty was just about, Jaga Beauty skincare was just about 2 years then. So, you know, it's
still a baby. And
it was still a baby. So my time here, but I knew that I wanted to do this and give it my full attention and all of that. So it was challenging but very rewarding.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So was the school, how did the school meet? Did it meet or did it exceed your expectation?
The school met my expectation. And I'll say this because prior to that, I have a sister that stays in South Africa. And at the time I wanted to do go into skincare, she's one person that has been supportive of my business from the beginning. In fact, she did the research and was like, why don't you come to South Africa for a course, you know, that this is where they have all of that and like that. So I was like, okay, but I need to look for the money and even the time, because at that time I have 2 children, you know, and my son was just about 2 years then or 3 years. So there's, I mean, it would be a bigger sacrifice leaving them.
To leave them to travel all the way to South Africa.
Yeah. So when I did my research about BTI, I found that I was affiliated with an institution in South Africa. I just thought it was the best decision. And I also found out that the same curriculum that is taught there as well is what we do here. Yeah. So it was a no-brainer, you know. And I would say one thing for sure is that I didn't even expect the level of dedication from the school, the educators. You know, normally when you go for a training in your adult age, when you go for adult school,
adult education,
you just expect them to breeze through and all of that. But it was very thorough time where we had to do our case studies, where we had to our thesis, you know, had to bring our models in and all of that. But for me, I've always been very open about my journey. So I put it out there on my page that we had transitioned, this is what we're doing. So at the point where I needed models, I'll put it out there, free facials. So I used to have like 4 people lining up for me here. So it was a very interesting time for me. It was tough, but it was good.
So like you guys heard it, you don't need to travel abroad to get world-class education when it comes to beauty therapy and aesthetics. So we have brought that right to your doorstep here in Lagos, Nigeria. BTI Lagos is a renowned beauty therapy institute for everything beauty, skincare. Okay, so you did CIDESCO, right? So how was it? How did it go? How was it?
CIDESCO, it was another thing that will make somebody cry.
Oh my God.
Because, so let me say this, I'm not in any way, I never had a science background. I'm an art student to the core. I never did chemistry, nothing science apart from integrated science and all of that. So coming into, apart from CIDESCO, I still had to do chemistry in BTI. So it was, I remember the first day in class, I sat down, I was like, what's this my pocket?
Tell me
honestly, I felt like running away. It was very overwhelming, but I made up my mind. I mean, for God's sake, they say life begins at 40. Am I going to now? I actually wanted to prove something to myself.
Yeah.
Because it gets to a point in your life that you just feel like, do you even have sense?
Do you know what you're doing?
Do you know what you're doing? What do I want out of my life? You know, can I do this? And I have a daughter. My daughter is 13. So I wanted to prove to her as well that I could take up a challenge and see it through. Because for her, looking at her, I look at myself in her, and from the very get-go, I tried to teach her the things I did not have the opportunity to learn, because I come from a family of 6 girls and I'm the middle child. So you can imagine the information passing over me. Whatever my mom did not teach me, I have to learn from my sisters and all of that. So I'm like an example for her. So it would have been disgraceful if I start and drop off.
Then you didn't finish.
I didn't finish. So I made up my mind I was going to see it through. Then CIDESCO now, you're not talking about chemistry alone. There's anatomy, physiology, there's chemistry, there's physics, you know, and the pass mark too it's a very high one. So I just gave it my all. To tell you the truth, at this point, I would like to really thank God for my family and even my husband, because when I was preparing for CIDESCO, everybody, even my daughter, they sat down in front of me they'll be asking me questions, I'll be answering. At this point, I realized that I was actually much more smarter than I thought I was. Yes, it changed a lot for me. It really gave me confidence in myself. It gave me confidence in a lot of things. So going through CIDESCO and even BTI as a whole, because I literally was in BTI for a whole year, you know, you have to stretch something. I realized that there's really nothing that I set my mind to do that I cannot do. Imagine having to start with chemistry from the beginning and learning that, what's that table?
That's the chemical
periodic table. Yes, yeah. I had to learn it. So one of the things I did was I had to go to YouTube as well. I went as little as finding the song that would make me
remember all the.
But I also made sure I didn't miss any of the classes because I knew that it wasn't something that you can catch up on later. So CIDESCO was challenging. It opened my mind. It made me, you know, have more confidence in myself, like I said, believe in myself a lot more. And also in terms of the industry itself, it taught us a whole lot. You're learning about the muscles in the face, the muscles in the decollete area, and all of that, because that's our major area of work.
Performing.
Yes, facials. So you're learning about all of that and you're understanding things a lot more. So I would say that because I came back for CIDESCO the next year and it was like a refresher course for me. I went back to my work because from CIDESCO class we go back to work. And I found myself doing a lot more, you know, and getting even better results.
Because now you understand the science and everything behind what you're doing.
A lot more better, you know. So it's CIDESCO, I would advise anyone who doesn't, you know, see that as in their future, they should consider it. And the fact that it also opens you up internationally, you have opportunities when you travel. If you have to travel, you know, it also gives you. I mean, I remember posting when I got the certification. I remember posting it on my pages and on my WhatsApp status, and quite a number of people reached out to me and said, "Okay, now we know we're in good hands." You know, so it's a kind of a status something also.
Kind of builds your confidence.
Yeah, really, because people come and they see that, oh, she's internationally certified.
Yeah, you're not just doing trial and error. You're not guessing what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing.
And to tell you the truth, I found myself in places with people in the same industry, and I'll tell you this not because you're interviewing me, but there's always a difference between someone who has gone through BTI and the next person. We always stand out, and it's
always,
no matter what, you can come here and curse and cry and all that you want, but the truth is you cannot take out what BTI has invested in you at the end of the day. It's been a blessing.
Thank you so much. So do you have any advice for anybody that's been thinking or second guessing or just they're not sure, should they enroll to BTI, should they not enroll to BTI? What do you have to say to them?
Definitely getting the right education, the right foundation, very important. As much as possible, you're dealing with people's lives, dealing with people's skin. The skin is the first thing you see when you meet a person. You don't want to gamble with that. So if you can, please get the right education, get the right certification from BTI. BTI is, for me, I'm not sure about so many recognized institutions here in Nigeria. So it's one that, I mean, if you Google it, it will definitely come up as number one. So it's an investment you will not regret. And I would advise anyone who wants to start this journey into becoming an esthetician or beauty therapist or into the beauty industry in a whole, if you can, please invest in BTI.
You've heard her, invest in BTI. So do well to check the caption below for all our social media handles, our websites, phone numbers, to get more information on how to be part of us at BTI. I feel like our wonderful alumni here, Miss Ngozi, CEO Jaga Beauty and Head Esthetician Skin Clinic. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So I come your way again next time. Keep being pretty and keep maintaining your beauty steps.